Welcome to the How Did We Get Here podcast, the show that allows inspiring women from all walks of life a place to tell their story. Follow along every fortnight as we chat about each woman's challenges, life lessons, and words of wisdom that they have picked up along the way. Everything that has led them to being right here and right now. I'm your host, Jess, and from wherever you are in the world, I hope the story you hear today makes you smile, laugh, and maybe even cry a little. I hope it inspires you and fills your cup up just a little bit more, because in this day and age, inspiration and stories are always worth sharing. So grab a coffee or a tea and settle in for today's episode. And welcome back to the How Did We Get Here podcast. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's episode. And for our episode today, I am very excited to welcome the amazing Morgan. Thank you so much for saying yes to being on the show. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
So Morgan is also a podcaster, which is very interesting for her to be on the other side. And I'm honored to be able to, speak to her today and get to know her a little bit more, like her origin story. So I hope everyone has a really good sort of, the experience that they have listening to our episode in terms of, learning something from you, your life story. And I find you really wise. And I've sort of I know I only know you through the sport that we're both in, but yeah, I'm very excited to sort of get to know you and sort of your story of how you got to where you are.
Well, amazing. That is so lovely. I would not consider myself like a very wise person, but I love that. I'll take that compliment.
So to get started, I always love to ask my guests how they would describe themselves as a person without saying what you do for work. So how would you describe yourself to someone without mentioning what your occupation is?
That's a fantastic question because, little side tangent, I am really, really big right now on trying to develop my sense of self outside of my occupation and outside of my hobbies and outside of the things I do. So I love that question. I'm just somebody who really lives my life to the fullest. I have always been like that my whole childhood. I was just an active, fun child. I've never had crazy big dreams of being rich or whatever. I've always just wanted to literally just live. I'm very passionate. I feel a lot of emotions and I feel like I'm quite intentional with everything that I do. And I guess that brings me success in like the things that I do. But it also just makes me feel like I have a really fulfilling life. And I think that that's really, really important.
Absolutely. What would be some other sort of describing words? So yes, obviously, like you're passionate, you're driven. How else would you sort of describe who you are as a person, like at your core?
I think I'm quite fun. I hope that I'm quite fun. Be around. Callum might say otherwise, but I think I'm just quite fun, bubbly, energetic. Like I try to be just very kind, and I have the words energy and intention tattooed on my hands because they're really the things that I live by. Like I just want to bring energy and intention to everything that I do, whether that is in conversations or that is in my work or training or just relaxing. I really just try to be purposeful. And I think that's like the key with everything right now is just like the intention.
So where did that sort of drive or that mentality come from? So obviously, if you want to take us back to your early years, your childhood, as far back as you want to talk about, like where did that sort of realization that that's how you wanted to live your life, where did that start for you?
I think as a kid, I was always very just extroverted. Like I was very fun, energized. Like I always wanted to do things and I've always wanted to just have an exciting life. Like I can remember as a kid, wanting to just be like, I wanted to go to the Olympics. That was my thing. I was like a runner. It's like, I want to go to the Olympics. I didn't have I didn't want to be a doctor or a teacher. I
Yeah.
wanted to like just be extraordinary. And it's really interesting. I compare this with my younger sister. She's 7 years younger than I. And you would say to her when she was a kid, like, what do you want to be when you're older? And she'd be like, I want to be a mum or a checkout chick or a teacher. And she's very much just has always been that way inclined. And
Mm.
I've always been the complete opposite. So I've always had it inside of me that like I knew I was going to do something just different and
Different.
fun and out there. And I've no one really ever has it figured out. I really don't know what like how my life is going to like pan out, but I still have always just known to the core that like that's what I'm going to do. And I
Mm.
guess I don't know, I wonder if that's like learnt or if it's just in our nature. I always think about it because I can reflect on my sister and I very much like we have same values, but we're so different in that sense. Like you would ask her as a kid, like 7 years old, she'd be like, yeah, I want to be a mum. And I'd be like,
Mm.
ew, kids, yuck.
No.
I'm still like that. And she's still like that, which
Same.
is really funny.
I can
But
honestly, I totally agree with that because I'm a twin and my twin sister and I are
oh,
so polar opposites. Like, I'm exactly like you. Like, I just want to do all the things that I can do in this life, all the hobbies, all the little side quests, anything and everything that sets my soul on fire. And my sister, she's been in the same job. She's a kindy teacher. She owns a home. She just loves she's a little homebody. But we had exactly the same upbringing. And yeah, I think it definitely comes back to you as a person and just your qualities and your character.
yeah, like there's just probably some little wire in our brain that's
Yeah.
slightly different to theirs. And it's great because like there's not one that's better than the other. It's like
No.
whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, you have to chase that. And
Mm.
I think as people who maybe don't go down the same track as majority of people, like it's like buy a house, get married, have kids, whatever, it can sometimes feel like, oh, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I not going to be successful? Or I always used to feel, and I guess I still do sometimes, like, oh my God, my life is always so up and down. It's like a roller coaster, I'm always changing hobbies and things. And
Yeah.
I thought, well, that's just
That's
who I
just
am
you.
and
Yeah.
that's what we do.
Mm. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I think as well, our generation is sort of learning that life sometimes does come first. Like there's no timeline, there's no perfect timeline of how things should be because everybody experiences life completely differently. And that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And reminding yourself that often is so important of like you do not have to do what like anyone tells you to do. And you also
Mm.
don't have to do what you think you should do. Like you just have to do whatever. You do whatever you want.
Yeah. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody, you're fine. Just do whatever you want.
Literally. Literally. But I think that that's something that like again that's learned. Like you can have I'm grateful that my parents have always just been like, "Oh yeah, you do whatever you want, girl." Like we're
We'll
chill.
support
We're
you.
chill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's nice because I've really just been able to sort of just do whatever and figure it all out. But I guess so many people are, you know, taught and told at a young age, like, no, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to go to uni, you have to. So I guess I'm so grateful for the fact that I got to just live out my weird self
Yeah.
without any judgment from like my family or control, which is really,
Hmm.
really good.
So with your upbringing, obviously you've spoken about your sister. Is she your only sibling that you have?
I have a brother as well. He's like the classic middle child. He's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's just great. He's
Which
just the
is
middle
cool.
child. He just flies under the radar. But I'm the oldest, and where I was born in England, and we immigrated here when I was 5.5.
That's so
Um,
cool.
yeah, pretty cool. And it's funny because my family, like obviously so many reasons why we moved, but one of the biggest reasons was that I was such a hyperactive, energetic kid. And they're like, you cannot stay in England inside. Like you need space, you
You
need
need
grass.
stimulation.
Yes, you need to go out. So like one of the big reasons we moved was because like they wanted me to have like a yard and the sunshine. And I'm so grateful for that because when I do go back to England, I've been quite a few times as an adult. I'm like, oh, life would be
I
different
could
here.
not. Yeah.
It's
That's
wild.
so
Like,
crazy.
yeah, and I grew up on Bribie Island, which is here in Queensland. It's like a little
Yep.
island, and it's amazing. And I've always been by the beach, and I've always really like loved that. My family is very much just like loves the outside. But yeah, it's really really interesting how even from a young age it was always like just have to be doing things.
Something. Preoccupied.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, my brother, he's fantastic. My little sister, she just turned 21, which is feels like a baby.
I know, my little
Um,
sister's 21 as well.
oh, it's so cute. I remember being 21 thinking I was so
Grown
wise
up.
and old. And I feel like I'd seen the world by that point. And I look and I
Mhm.
go, oh no.
Not at all. Like I'm in my 30s now. How old are you? How old are you turning this year?
27.
Yeah, okay. So we're not too far apart, but like yeah, what I thought was mature when I was 21 is definitely not like the reality of being in your 30s is just so different. Like it's crazy. And I look at my little sister and she's a baby. Like she's what do you mean you live your own life? What do you mean you're an adult? Like you have your full license? No, that's that no.
Yeah, literally. And I think like when I went through a few things like quite pivotal things when I was in like that 19, 20-year-old age. And when I was going through them, they were like really big drastic things. And I thought I handled it really well. I thought I was being mature, and it did make me such a mature young
Person.
person. Like
Yep.
I have always been a little bit more like, I don't know, street smart, a little bit more clued on. But I think back now, I'm like, wow, you were going through those things as a kid. You were so small and a baby. And I thought at the time, I was like, I'm an adult and handling these adult things. And now I'm like, no, you were a baby handling these adult things, which is wild to think like that little Morgan was like going through it. And I
Mm.
look back now and I'm like, wow, yeah, you did that at such a little tiny age.
Yeah. Do you want to maybe share some of those big things that you were sort of dealing with right about that time?
Yeah, so I obviously like had school's fan like, school's school. Didn't
Yep.
really love it, didn't really hate it.
Did
Just
you
did
finish
the
year
thing.
12? Like did you go all the way through?
Yeah, yeah, and I
Yep.
was a very sporty kid. And I was pretty much all I did all school. I didn't care about schoolwork. I just wanted to
Play
do track and
sport.
field, play sport, do it all. And that was fantastic because I didn't really care about school, but I cared about sport. And
Mhm.
it gave me something to worry about.
Yep.
And I guess like just after school, pivoted away from sport, didn't end up really going anywhere with it through like schooling. So I sort of just dropped off. Then I kind of got involved in like a bit of a rough crowd. Everybody seems to go through that at some stage.
Mhm.
And I had some sort of like just life wasn't that exciting, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna have to go and do something and change because I don't want to be like this forever. I always could tell, like I'd go to the parties, I'd do all the things, and I'd be like, you know what, this isn't my place. Like
Mm.
I'm here and I'm doing it, but I don't want to be here. And I packed my bags, I quit my job, I sold my car, and I went to go back to London, to like just go and live basically.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna get a job in London. I'm gonna do all these things. And this was when I was 19, I think. And
That
so I'd
is
done it all.
crazy.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. Like I went on like a contiki at the start and I did all the fun stuff. And then I found a home, I got a job in London, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna stay here for like 2, 3 years and figure myself out, find myself, leave the partying. And a couple months in, my best friend here in Australia tragically died. And so it was a really
Oh my
big
god.
kind of thing. He was like my closest friend from when I was like 5 years old. I met him. He was like my first friend of Australia, and he got hit by a car at a party once, and it was super super tragic. And I came home, and so I packed everything back up. I came back to Australia, and I had no car, I had no job. I just thought I'd left this whole life behind me, and I came straight back, and I was like, oh my god,
What the
this
fuck
life,
do I
yeah.
do? Yep.
And it was a pivotal moment for me because I'd sort of like felt like everything had been taken away from me as well. My friend
Mm.
had been taken away from me. Now my job, my opportunity to go and find myself in England. I didn't have any money because I just gone back and forth. I'd spent
Yeah.
it all on my freaking Kentucky tour.
Yeah.
And I went through this big, big moment of just, mourning and depression. And for a long time, did not come out of it. I was very like, I was angry at the universe. And
Yeah.
this was all like, I'm 19 years old and I'm like thinking I'm handling it pretty well. And it's only when I look back now and I'm like, oh, you
Really
did not.
didn't.
No.
Yeah.
Because what 19-year-old knows how to handle,
Such a big
somebody.
loss and grief, and yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
it
a
was like
lot.
the grief of the friend and the grief of the life. I think I really battled with both, which sounds almost quite selfish to think about now. Like, grieving my friend who passed away, and of course that's tragic. And then also just the fact that I had everything taken away from me in that same time.
Mm.
Um, so I battled with that for so long. But it also was the key sort of thing that transformed my mindset, and it's taken so many little steps forward, but it was the thing that really instigated me living life to the fullest and like chasing my dreams, going and just doing whatever. So that was like, 19 years old Morgan trying to figure all this out. And it took years until I sort of figured anything
Out
out at
after
all.
that, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it was a big sort of period of my life, and it was something that I would you know would never wish on anybody, but I'm
Yeah.
grateful had happened so that I could learn from it and be able to kind of like share what I've learned now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's so hard when you're going through it.
Absolutely, 100%. And like you would have just obviously had all these questions in terms of like how it happened, why it happened, and all of that as well. But, it's not selfish at all for you to have wanted at that time to grieve that life that you thought you were about to have. Because, like you said, like you were a teenager, you were a kid basically. And during that period of time, we are by nature very selfish, not in a bad way, but I mean, like, our whole little world is just us. Like, that's all you have to focus on. And I see that with my little sister, right? Well, I don't call her little, she's my younger sister. um but it's like your whole world is just what is happening with you, right? So I don't think it was not selfish of you to grieve that life that you thought you were about to go and have. Like, that would have been completely normal for you to feel. So yeah, it's good that you can sort of reflect on that now as an adult. But I think you handled it better than I think you're giving yourself credit for.
Yeah, and I think like even when I was young, like I was 21, 22, coming into like the gym world, and
Hmm.
I'd sort of met Callum and I'd met, some of my friends that are my friends now. And a lot of people are so like, oh, you are mature, you're wise. And I'm like, yeah, because I have had trauma. Like I went through some shit. Um, and I guess like going through those things, like it really did make me mature. It made me realize how life is so short. And that
Mm,
was like the biggest wake up call for me, because when you are 19, in your teenage years, you don't realize how life is so short. You
mm.
think you've got so far ahead of you.
Invincible.
You think a 30-year-old is old. You're like, they're so old, they've lived their life. And we look now like 30 is so young.
Yeah.
Um, but it was like that was the moment for me that I realized like, no, like you could not be here next year. And so that really instigated for me, like it instigated a lot of partying and like, oh my God, I've got to live to the fullest. So I
Yeah.
kind of went back to the old ways. But
Mm.
when I started to come out of it, and then I started to realize like, okay, no, you actually only just have one life and you need to live it well. Um,
Purposefully.
yeah. And I
Mm,
guess that's where it all comes from. Like I think about why I live with such intention is because like I am so conscious of our mortality.
mm. That's so good. That's so insightful. Like, I haven't really had a conversation with someone like that in terms of like our mortality being at the forefront of the decisions that we make each day.
Yeah, and I think like it might be kind of morbid to think about, but
No, not at
it's
all.
it's real. Like we can't escape the fact that one day
It's
we
gonna
are not
happen.
going to be here.
Yeah.
Um, and I think like at the end of the day, it's not something to fear.
Oh, no.
But it needs to be something that we realize. Like I actually just had someone on my podcast, and we were talking about this the other day, about that we actually have so much less time than we think. Like
Mm.
when you actually plan out your life and you say, okay, well, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to do this. And you like, look, it's not a lot of time. Like
No.
it's actually not a lot of time. And if we, so much time is wasted on silly little things on our phones or on jobs that we, don't
Don't
like, or,
like.
or people we don't like. And it's like, okay, well, we don't have a lot of time. It could be cut short, but even if
Mm.
we lived all the way to 90, like that's not
It's
a
not
lot of
that far
time.
away.
I mean, it's
Crazy.
far, but it's not far.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
God.
not. So then you met, so how old were you when you met Callum and you got into training? So how did you get into training?
So yeah, as I said, like I was a super fit kid, super energetic. I've always just loved to do anything active.
Mm-hmm.
And around that time, like after my best friend passed away, there was a few years where I just didn't do anything. I trained sort of and just partied pretty much and just literally was just didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I went back to Europe. I went back and ended up doing like 6 months backpacking on my own, got the closure, did the whole thing.
That's so cool.
So amazing. And
Yeah.
that was truly like one of the best times of my life. I was not training, wasn't being healthy, was partying, but it was just so fun and so formative. But
I
as
think
soon
it
as I
would have
got
been
home,
very cathartic for you, as like going back to what we were saying before about you grieving not having that life when you thought you were going to have it, but then it's sort of like that full circle moment of having that like you said, closure, but just that really cathartic sort of experience of, okay, I got to live this part. Like I got to experience this. That's awesome. That's so good.
yeah, and I think like pretty much as soon as I had come home, like, and I had to come home, I was like, I have to go back. I have to
Mm,
save all my money again. I have to go back to my job. I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna go again.
yeah.
And when I came home, I like met a boy. He was not, an average kind of guy, and I just like one day just was like, I have to go back to Europe. I just broke
Mm.
up with him, booked a flight. Like the next week I was gone. I was like, I just have to go
See
back.
ya.
Yeah, literally. And in that time when I had that boyfriend, I randomly applied for a job at Good Life Gym.
Mm,
Didn't hear anything from them, whatever. And then when I came home from Europe, like the second time, I'd been there for like 6.5 months. I just like randomly got a call one day from like the guy from the gym, and he was like, "Hey, like you applied for this job a year ago. Do you still want it?" And I was like, this kind of feels like a sign. Like it kind of feels like I have to do this. The
yeah.
job was far away from home, but I took the job, and I met Cal there, and that's where I met him. And I was still sort of partying, and I didn't know what macros were. I didn't really know what training in the gym was. But I had my cert 3 and 4 because I did it in school, so
Yeah.
I could get a job in the gym. And I met Cal, and I was like, oh, it's kind of boring. Like he doesn't do anything. He just like eats and trains, and
Who is
I don't
this
know.
guy?
Yeah. And so that was like just kind of like average for a little while, just had it, he was a friend and I had lots of friends there. And then I just sort of started to see how good it felt and how good it was to just train. And I loved the community and I made all these like gym friends. And then I just sort of got engulfed in it. And
Yeah.
then I started dating Cal, and then he did his first show in 2021, which would have been right before COVID.
COVID. Yep.
Yeah, and I went to the show, saw the pros. No, I saw Alex Banda, and she turned pro, and I was like, I am obsessed. Like I was
This
like,
is what I want to do.
yes. I looked at them and I was like, I want to look like them. I want to be like them. I want to do that on stage. And I literally just was like in awe. And Callum still remembers like looking over at me in the crowd, and I was just like in awe of these
Yeah.
women.
Yeah.
And so that was it. And then I was like, this is it. And
Yeah.
I went,
What do I do?
yeah, literally. And then
Yeah.
COVID happened, and me and Callum like were training out of the garage, doing all
Oh,
like
yeah.
the homework.
God, I don't miss that at all. That was horrible.
No, but yeah, it was really, it was just one of those moments that like lit me up. And it's funny because it was literally like a light bulb moment of me just like flipping the switch, of being like, I don't care about anything I used to do. I'm doing this. I'm getting on that freaking stage.
Mm,
And that was it. That kind of started my whole bodybuilding journey.
amazing. So then if you want to delve more into your bodybuilding journey and just like how that has sort of transformed over the last couple of years since you've started.
Yeah, so that was right before COVID. That was when I sort of found bodybuilding, discovered what it was, saw the girls, and I just went. I guess because Callum was already really invested in it, it was really
Mm-hmm.
easy for me to get really invested in it really quickly.
Yep.
I just sort of slotted into his lifestyle, which was fantastic, but also I didn't really have a sense of me doing it. It was just sort of
Mm,
like I was just doing it. And so I guess COVID happened. We did a couple of tried to do preps, but preps got cancelled because of COVID. So my first show was in 2022,
mm-hmm.
um, which I guess was only probably like a year or a bit later after I saw it. Um, and it was a fantastic prep. I prepped under Scott. So I'm so grateful that I've done all of my preps with Scott, really.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just been like
Amazing.
fantastic. I literally just cannot speak a bad word about him. And I'm so grateful that he's been through all of like that journey.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I did that prep. It was a fantastic prep because I was under Scott. I honestly just think that the fact that he was with me through that prep, I just had a really, really good time. I just developed my mindset. I loved doing it. I was very invested. Callum was prepping at the same time. Callum won his pro card at that show. So my
Yep.
first show, Callum won his pro card. And so like we just developed this whole bodybuilding life
Yep.
essentially.
Yep.
And so then I competed the next year in the same season, so like season A 2023. And
Mm-hmm.
that's when I won my pro card. So it was a
Mm-hmm.
really quick, um, like a really quick journey for me.
Yep.
Like discovered it 1 year, competed the next year, won my pro card the
The
year
next
after
show.
that.
Yep.
It was very quite quick. And I believe that that was just purely because I just worked my ass off. Like I just went genuinely balls to the wall. Nothing else mattered. I was
Tunnel
so
vision. Just,
yes.
I hate the term, but locked in. Like, just nothing else fucking mattered. You were just in it.
Yeah. And I was locked in. Callum was locked in. He just turned pro. Then he was going for his pro debut. We had nothing else. We didn't have to worry about anything else. We didn't have, you know, whatever. It was just bodybuilding, bodybuilding, bodybuilding. And I think that's why I did so well. But I also feel like, genetics come into play, all these things come into play. And my
Yep.
mindset has always been really, really switched on. And I've been able to just cultivate a really healthy, like athlete mindset, I guess, because I've always just had that. So yeah, that was 2023. And then basically from then, things kind of went, I kind of needed to step away from bodybuilding for a little bit. And that kind
Yeah.
of was a whole different thing. And I think till 2023 and then after 2023 feel like completely different like
Times.
times. Yeah, bodybuilding worlds for me.
Mm. That's one thing I've sort of been really not curious, but like I've wanted to sort of know a little bit more about. So, because obviously I followed you for a long time, like we are friends through social media, through bodybuilding, and just the community that we have. And, I've noticed with such awe you realizing sort of after that period of time how much bodybuilding was consuming you and how much you, like you said in the beginning of the podcast, you struggled to sort of have your own identity outside of bodybuilding. So, if you don't mind sort of sharing a little bit more about how that shift took place and sort of what you did to get to that realization and yeah, any advice I think maybe if there are any other competitors potentially feeling like they're in the same boat because I know I definitely was in that same boat probably like a year and a half to 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's important. I feel like it's important to think about the fact that if I wasn't like that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Like, I think I needed to have the dedication, and I had to go balls to the wall to get what I achieved. And
Absolutely.
I wouldn't take it back, and I wouldn't change it, because if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to inspire or reach the same amount of people as I reach now,
Mm-hmm.
because my competing success has got me to where I am, and I'm able to now reach so many people and help so many people. And it's a funny like double-edged sword, because I think like, oh, I need to have balance, but if I didn't have the non-balance and I didn't go through that, I
It wouldn't
wouldn't
have been
be
as
right
successful.
here.
Mm.
Yeah. So I think that's really important, but I think that really was for a season,
Mm-hmm.
or like a little season of my life. And I needed to switch out of that season when it wasn't serving me anymore. And it got me to where I wanted to be. It got me to where I needed to be. And then I needed to take a switch. And I guess it didn't come easy. And it's only been like like this year probably has felt normal, whereas the end of 2023 and pretty much the whole of 2024, I was like half and half. I was trying to figure it out. I did not know. It's only been in this 2025 that I've
Mm.
really felt like I've come into finding myself outside of it. Um, and I think the most important thing really for me was just building my confidence outside of my success,
Yeah.
um, and finding other things that made me feel good about myself other than just being a good bodybuilder. And I think I had an interesting career because I was just good kind of from the start. Like I
Mm.
got into it, I was like, oh, I want to compete. And then all of a sudden, I like my first show, one novice, one true novice, came like second in the opens. And
Yep.
so I was just good. I was always like, oh, I'm a good bodybuilder. Everybody
It's
knew me
good.
as like, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, wow, you're so good. You're so locked in. You're like so dedicated. And so nobody knew me other than being like this really good, really hardworking bodybuilder. And so that's why I just sort of like built my whole sense of self and sense of confidence in the bodybuilding industry around, is that nobody ever saw me at the bottom. People only ever saw me kind of at that
At the
top.
top.
Yeah. And I think it's been a big shift now, just sort of realizing that like that's all I showed for so long, but that's not all I was. But it's all that I showed to people. And I
Mm.
think it was just sort of coming to the realization that like you can show the other parts because they're there. Callum sees them, my family sees them, but I sort of felt like I had to have this front up
This
for
facade,
people.
this sort of just like,
Yeah.
yep, yep. No
It,
one wants to see the real, not the ugly parts, but just like the normal parts, the non bodybuilding related parts of your life and who you are as a person.
Yeah, and I think for so long I just felt like people respected me because I was so good and so
Mm.
like switched on as a bodybuilder. And I thought like, oh, people are not going to think, people don't want to see me not as a good bodybuilder, because that's what they've built
Perception of you. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I've battled with it a lot because I still feel like that sometimes now, I think, oh my gosh, if I stepped away, what would I have to talk about? Or who would want to listen to what I have to say? But it's just coming back to like having a little bit more self-confidence in other things. Like,
Yeah.
I try and remind myself that like what makes me a good bodybuilder is not the way I look or my medals. It's the way I am as a bodybuilder. I'm a dedicated person. I'm consistent. I am passionate. I can be dedicated, consistent, and passionate towards my business, towards my podcast, towards my friends, towards my hobbies. And
Yeah.
so, what actually makes me me and what makes me a good athlete and a good bodybuilder are those traits and those values, not so much the way I look, like my small waist or my
Yeah.
delts or like the pro
Yeah.
card.
Yeah.
And that mindset shift has been really, really like pivotal. And I think that if anyone's listening who's struggling with the same thing of I don't know who I am outside of bodybuilding, or no one's going to care about me outside of bodybuilding or my sport, it's just coming into this realization that like the bodybuilding is just like a vessel, but you are just the values
And
and
the
the
qualities that make you who you are as an athlete are also what make you who you are as an individual, as a person, as a being to the other people in your life.
yes,
So,
yes. And
yeah.
that's it. Like my friends aren't my friend because I'm Morgan Eldrett, IFBB Bikini Pro. Like I was just
Yeah.
having this conversation with my friend Hannah the other day. She's like, I literally don't care that you're a pro. And I was like, well,
What?
you should.
Excuse me.
It was funny, but she's like, you know what? I literally couldn't care less. Like, I could not care. And she's like, I would not go around and say, like, oh, do you know Morgan, the pro? Like,
Yeah.
that's not how she's going to introduce me to a friend. She's going to go, this is Morgan. Like, she's so passionate about what she does. She's
Yeah.
like so consistent. She's like so energetic.
And
That's
just
how,
like so fun to be around. She's like one of my best friends, and like the qualities that make you who you are, not just a pro.
yeah. And I had to go to therapy for this. Like I had to go to a sports psychologist and realize this. Like this
How
wasn't
good
just something.
therapy.
Oh, so
It's
good.
changed
So
my
good.
life.
I know. I was actually just thinking about this morning. I was like, you know what? If I had like the funds, I would go like twice a week. I don't like
100%.
not that anything right now is like really
Super wrong.
weighing down, but like
Yeah.
man, it's just so good.
Mm.
But I think the podcasts are like this as well. Like I think all these little things we do are like little forms of therapy.
Absolutely. 100. That's why I started it. Like I started this 12 months ago when my life was in the shithole, and it just has brought me back to life in such small little ways because I love talking to people. Like we spoke about this before we started the episode, and I just think because to me stories are so valuable. Stories and carrying on people's stories and views and listening to people's perspectives, I think is just so insightful. And it also makes you reflect on yourself and you and your experiences. And I just think that's amazing. And that helps other people who are listening, other people who are watching, other people who may be going through the same experiences. And what is life but shared experiences and values in that experience? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just so lovely to learn about yourself through other people. Like you hear somebody else's story and you go, "Oh my God, yeah, no, actually that's what happened with me." And then I realized that like, wow.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite thing. Like I'll really reflect on what they're saying and
Mm.
then be able to sort of reflect on my own story in that same way.
Absolutely. What were some of the tools that really helped? So we spoke a little bit about therapy. What were some of the other tools that you used to sort of help you get out of that mindset and come to that realization about yourself and your individuality? Like what sort of modes and things did you do, like hobbies and things like that, that sort of outside of bodybuilding that also helped that process?
I think for me, there was a few things. The first thing was really unraveling like the core beliefs that I had about myself.
Mm,
And they went, way deeper than bodybuilding. They were things that came through in your childhood, right?
yeah.
One of the core beliefs that I really had about myself that has, I guess, made me a good athlete, but also has made me struggle is this belief that I'm not good enough or I'm lazy. My word is always that you're lazy. You're lazy, lazy, lazy. And so one of those things that I had to do was like unravel that core belief. And I think that was really just like identifying it, reframing it, and then starting to become aware of it consistently.
Mm,
And I think the biggest thing though was this values work of like, what are your values? Who do you want to be? Who, not like what do you want to be, but like who do you want to be? Who is your best self? And just working on trying to be that person in every area of your life and everything that you do.
mm,
So one of the things we did at the start was like, what are your values? Like kind of like what we spoke about at the start. And it's funny because I already had these things tattooed on my hand, but I was like, yeah, intention and purpose and passion and energy and kindness, like they're my values. Discipline, devotion, and all these different things. And it was just sort of like trying to think about them and portray them and embody them in other aspects of my life as well.
mm,
So I started to be like, okay, well, I'm a disciplined bodybuilder, but I can also be disciplined with my cold showers. And I'm, really passionate about bodybuilding, but can I be passionate about the podcast? And just like putting those values into other things. I never really tried to start a new hobby or just try and do something else because at the core of it, I still love bodybuilding. I love the things that I do. And
Yeah.
I didn't want to just be like, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder anymore. I'm going to go and be like a freaking painter or something. I wanted to still have bodybuilding, but I wanted it to not be my whole identity.
Yeah.
And so it was really just like working on those values and knowing who I am as a person, and using bodybuilding and the podcast and my work and my posing as like a vessel to like portray those values. But
Mm.
those vessels are not me. The values are me. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. 100% that makes sense. Yeah, no, definitely. So then feeding into that, if you want to share obviously what you do for work and where your business is sort of at right now and how obviously those values have tied it, because you've done such a great job in sort of building up your business and what you're doing. And obviously I only really see it through social media and through that lens, but yeah, it's been incredible to sort of watch you as a business owner really blossom into that as well.
Yeah, I really love I think I just love like pursuing things. I
Mm.
think at the core of it, that's probably what a lot of us just like is like just the pursuit of something. I'm in a really cool, exciting, pivotal point right now with everything because I obviously do posing, coaching, and that's what I've been doing for the last few years. And I've just started back up my online coaching for like training, nutrition, fitness coaching.
Yeah.
I used to do that a few years ago and I just didn't love it. I just wasn't really my thing at the time. And now I have the podcast, and my podcast is my baby. And it is the thing that I really see a future in for me. And I love so much.
Mm.
I love the guests and I love talking. Like I just could do solo episodes 5 million times a day.
I haven't done
Um,
one yet. I'm nervous.
oh, I don't know, like I'm just a chatterbox. I can just be like, "Ah," and just talk. So I love them, but they are hard because you're like, I have notes I want to say. And then, anyway,
Mm.
but the podcast, I love the podcast, and that's mindset based. It's called the Mindset Lounge. It's
Mhm.
like all things mindset, all things athlete, business, just getting in the nitty gritty. And that's where I really, really love talking about. It's what I love learning about. And, I guess that's really what we've talked about today.
Yeah.
But now with my online coaching, I've kind of merged my online fitness coaching with a little bit of like the mindset side of things. So we do
Yeah.
like habit coaching, we work on like routines and rituals, and we just work on like building a sense of self and identity as well as just here's a training program, here's a nutrition program.
Mm.
Because I've always found like that, mindset's the core of everything.
100%.
A lot of the time, if someone's not able to stick to their training or nutrition, it's not due to the plan, it's due to their mindset or their limiting beliefs or something.
Or their
Um,
routine or their lack thereof routine and structure and sort of like I sort of do the same thing with some of my clients who do struggle with adherence. And we peel back the layers a little bit and look at, okay, what does your routine look like? What does your day-to-day look like? Let's put some things in place that sort of give you like little, I don't know, training wheels to sort of get you into the mindset of being a lot more consistent and a lot more accountable to every single little thing you do in your life, and then slowly it just becomes that second nature that we obviously have developed ourselves as athletes, but, lifestyle clients and everyday clients, really struggle with that consistency because they don't set those strict sort of routines with themselves, especially in the beginning part of, getting into fitness and everything like that.
Yeah, definitely. And even just like limiting beliefs and like the story people tell themselves. Like it's
Hmm.
so often that you'll see someone that's like, I just am not this. I'm not a morning person, or I'm not, I can't meal prep. I don't like eating the same thing every day. It's like that's a story you're telling yourself. It's like the story that I told myself for many years, or like, I'm only a bodybuilder and people only like me if I win. It's like, that's just a story.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I think it's just, when we work with clients and we can kind of let them realize that that's just a story and that
Hmm.
they can rewrite the story, I think that just really changes the game for them. And so yeah, that's the thing. I mean, my podcast is just the thing I love so much.
Mhm.
And the fact that I'm now able to sort of like go a little bit into the mindset with the training, nutrition as well, it's exciting. But of course I still do posing as well because I love that as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
absolutely.
doing
Oh,
everything.
just all the things. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, on that note as well, sort of what are some of your things? Because, obviously I know you live in Queensland on the Gold Coast. Um, I love to ask my guests as well, what are some of the things, the little things in life that bring you the most joy?
Mm.
So, just the things that just for you personally that you just like, oh, that's nice. Like that's just for me. So what are some of the things in life that bring you the most joy?
That's a great question. I'm thinking of my home right now. So I live, yeah, on the Gold Coast. I have a beautiful kind of beachfront apartment, and I just am so grateful for the little things. Like I love the beach. I love the outside. I love the sunshine. And at the moment it's like whale season, so the whales are like coming.
Oh my
I don't know
god.
if they go as I don't know where they're coming from or where they're going. But at in winter time, like at the start of winter, they go that way, and then at
Mhm.
the end of winter they go that way with their babies.
Yeah.
And from our bedroom window and from my kitchen bench I can see the ocean and I can see the whales jumping. And honestly, that those little things bring me so much joy. I am so grateful for life and for just being able to see
Appreciate
whales.
life. Yeah. I don't know about you. Animals make me so emotional.
I honestly, the
I'm so
whales
I'm
get
such a
me like
baby. Like I
no,
went to
it's
New Zealand and we went to Milford Sound and we saw like we got to see dolphins, we got to see seals and penguins, and I was a mess. I was like crying. I was so happy.
no, but like seriously, they're just
It's just so
beautiful
it's just yeah.
things.
Yeah.
It is it's no, it's honestly so nice, and I love nature. Like it's funny, animals like I'm a bit I don't know, I've always just been a little bit like timid with animals. Like a
Oh.
horse or something, I'll be like, I don't really want to pat it. I'll just like I'm like, ah, hi. But just I love nature. I think that's
Yeah.
just I love like the
The
earth.
appreciation of nature. Got it.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think, yeah, that's like the main thing. Like, I just love the beach. I love reading at the beach. I love spending time with my friends and my family. But I think it's always just going to come back to like the things that make me feel really like grounded and like
Mm.
clear
Yeah.
is the outside, the beach, the sunshine. And that will always be what I love the most.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. For me, oh man, my morning coffee is my number one thing that I wake up
Mm.
every morning and I'm just like, I get a coffee.
Yeah, so good, so good.
Definitely.
But it's the little things, right? Like I think like your life is made up of the little things. It's not
Mm,
the big things that we remember. And I
mm,
heard this on Emma Greed's podcast, and she was talking about like we try and make moments perfect, like big moments really, really perfect. But
yeah.
when you look back at the last, like if you look back at your last year, what are the key things you remember? They're usually not the big moments or the perfect moments. They're like the little things that you do with other people that are like spontaneous and like not curated.
Yeah.
And I think they're so important to cherish and relish in because
Absolutely.
they're the real things that are gonna like matter. And
And
like your
just,
life is made up of the morning coffees. They're not made up
yeah.
of like the birthday parties.
Yeah. Absolutely. 100%. Oh my goodness. Well, my last question that I sort of want to wrap up our episode with is if there was one piece of advice that you today, as in 27-year-old Morgan, could tell 9-year-old you, what would that be?
Mm, that's a great question.
Mm,
I would say that no matter what, just keep moving forward and just keep trying. I see it so many times with clients and other people and myself of when you try and try and try and then things don't work, just keep trying, like just keep going. And I
mm,
think that everything that I've done in my life has led me up to here, and it's because I have just not stopped trying. And I've had setbacks. I've had moments where I'm like, what am I doing? And I've had moments where I have stopped. But if you just keep moving forward, you will eventually
Get
get
there.
get there. If you just pursue your best self, everything will fall into place. If you just pursue being your best and being, living in your values,
Mm.
everything will fall into place and you will feel okay in the end all the time.
Absolutely. Definitely. I love that so, so much. And for you as well. So this was more so an off tangent question, but with everything that you're sort of doing coming into the end of the year and moving into next year, what are some of the goals that you're sort of working towards now in terms of going into 2026?
Mm. So this has been a really pivotal year for me. I had a couple. I started prep at the start of the year. It got. I had to cancel it just due to things that were going on in my personal life. And I'm prepping again, and I'm
Mhm.
competing in Japan in 9 weeks. And
So
this prep
exciting.
has been freaking amazing. Like this prep has been so incredible. I've been so present. I've had so much fun. I've really tried to just focus on doing everything because I love it and because I want to.
Hmm.
And I think going into the rest of this prep, that is my main focus of just really being present in the prep and trying to focus on doing the prep things because I want to do them, not because you
Yep.
have to.
Yep.
I think I spoke about this on my story the other day of like when you get in a prep and you get into the depths of it, everything just becomes a chore. Like you have to go get steps, you have to go train, and you resent it all by the end. And I
Yep.
really, really want to try and put this last 9 weeks of prep, really focus on trying my best to do everything because I love to and because I enjoy it.
Hmm.
And
And
then,
because you get to, because you
yeah.
have the opportunity to be in this position to be able to do this prep.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's so important for like the longevity of bodybuilding in terms of like your mental health that
100%.
the more you resent it, every prep you're just going to resent it a little bit more. And
Hmm.
there's just going to be a point where you're like, I'm fucking sick of training because I have to go to the gym.
Yep.
And I think it's so important that yes, there's going to be hard days. It's hard. I'm tired and hungry and my stomach's
Yeah.
rumbling right now, but it doesn't mean that I'm not doing it because I want to do it.
Yep.
Um, and I think like you can take that into your work, you can take that into your relationships, like doing the things that you love and continuing to do them because you love to do them,
Yep.
not because you have to do them, is
Mm.
really, really important. And I think like going into the next year, I don't know if I'll be prepping or not prepping, but that's still going to be that mindset of like just trying to be present and enjoying things. And yeah, doing it all. And, even work, like when the days get really big and you're like, oh, I have to reply to my 15 clients. It's like,
Yep.
you have 15 clients.
Like, that's
Like,
amazing. You get to
go.
do that. Yeah.
Literally. And it's just
Mm.
so important because otherwise you look back on like your life. You're like, wow, I just spent this whole year being like, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. But it's
Yep.
like you got to do all this. It's how cool is that?
I find that sometimes I'm reminding my clients of that sometimes where they're just like,
Mm.
oh, like I feel like I have to try and get this done and then, I have to balance work and then I have to go to the gym and I have to do my steps. And I'm like, okay, well, let's try and reframe that perspective of, you have the opportunity to move your body, you have the opportunity to go to the gym, you have the capacity to live a healthier life than what you previously did. That's why you're working with me. There's especially one client that I'm currently working with who I've been working with for close to 2 years. And she found herself sort of getting into that really negative mindset, and she just started hating going to the gym and was resenting it. And it wasn't until we had that really hard conversation of, okay, I think it's time that we need to start to rewire the way you speak to yourself about going to the gym, about being healthier, that, we had a check in 2 weeks ago, a week ago, because I do mine fortnightly. And she was like, Jess, thank you. Like, I've really, really needed to hear that. And she's only young, like, she's 21. And again, I just remind myself, like, she's a baby. She's still learning. Like, and she's like, I never sort of thought of it that way. And yeah, it's amazing sometimes when we get to reflect as coaches on the impact that we have on our clients and their mindsets and their perspective of life, because we've lived it, we've gone through it. Yeah.
And I think it's just like even circling back to what we were talking about at the start. Like your life is short. Your life can be taken away from you so quickly.
Yeah.
How genuinely, how do you want to live it? Like if
Mm.
you just like step back and you actually think, because I think so many people don't even think about these things. Like they
Mm.
don't think about actually how are they living? How do they want to live? Like if you keep living the same way you lived this year, for the rest of your life, would you actually be happy? Is that the way you actually want to live? And a lot of the
Whoa.
time, it's like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
do you want to complain about going to the gym every single day for the rest of your life? Like,
Mm.
no. So we just have to be really clear about like, okay, we don't have a lot of time. Your life can be taken away from you. And I hate when people say like, if you had 1 year to live, what would you do? It's like, well, of course I wouldn't work. And of course I'd just go and swim in the ocean
Travel.
every day and
Yeah.
eat ice cream every meal. Of course I would.
Duh.
I'm like, how would you, if you had the rest of your life and you lived it exactly the way you lived today or this whole year, would you actually genuinely be happy? And if it's a yes, dope. If it's a no,
What
just
can
do
we work
whatever
on?
literally just do
Yeah.
whatever you can to change. And even if it's one thing, like even if it's just like one tiny thing you change every now and then,
Mm.
because we're not all gonna like, we
Make
don't
massive,
magically,
huge, like
yeah,
life shifts every single
literally.
year of our lives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you have that intention and you actually have that introspection and think about what do I want, how do I want to live my life, then you've already made the first step. And then once you just do that, you just got to do those little things and just keep trying. Like literally just keep trying.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Life advice.
Literally. Oh, Morgan, thank you so much, honey. Honestly, this has been such a great episode, and I could literally sit and talk to you for another hour, but I'm sure you're hungry. And
No, I know. I was just thinking the same. I was like, oh,
like
that's
it's
a
just
good chat.
I know, like, and it's really nice to talk to someone who, again, I admire a lot. Like, I don't know if I've really ever had the opportunity to tell you that, but in a lot of things that you do, like, I admire again that you do everything with intention, you do everything with purpose, with energy, and it shows. And yeah, I really love that about you, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity to really just have a good chat today and pick your brains a little bit because it's been amazing. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my story and share my insights. It's very rare that I speak about those few things that went on in my childhood and my teenage years. Like obviously they've made me who I am, but they're not things that I'm going around telling
Spilling.
every second person. So it's really nice I got to share that, and I hope that anyone listening that's going through any of those things we've talked about today can just take a little nugget and apply it, because then literally our job is done.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, well, thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. And if you haven't already, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. That would help me a lot in my little passion project. And yeah, Morgan, thank you again, honey. And I will catch you guys in the next episode.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.